All right, everyone. It's Crystalline here, and I want to welcome you to the Alchemy Coach Startup Challenge. And I'm really glad that you're here with us today. My name is Crystalline Bell, and I'm the founder of Badass Butterfly Alchemy. And I'm here with Team Badass Butterfly members, Rebecca and Liesel, and we're going to be taking you through this program today. And if you have any questions, you can always type them into the comments. If you're watching me live, please in the comments type #live. If you're watching the replay, please type #replay and remember to give us a reaction, a thumbs up, a heart, whatever you feel like. Okay. So I'm really happy to welcome new coaches like you into the world of coaching. We need more life coaches who are well trained and who are willing to bring their unique and authentic life experiences to the world. Now, when I talk about life coaching, I'm not talking about surface level solutions or quick fix motivation. I'm really talking about a process that goes to the root of the cause, right? Because most of the real challenges that we face, whether it's in our relationships or in our work or just even with our own self-confidence, or maybe we have lost track of our purpose. Everything starts with what we believe, what we've been through, and what we have internalized without even realizing it. So, the kind of coaching that I teach begins on the inside. That means we have to work with those deep layers of the self, unprocessed trauma, inherited beliefs, protective patterns that might have kept you safe when you were little, okay, coping mechanisms that you've developed, but now they might be keeping you stuck. And this is what the world is experiencing right now. There are a lot of changes, and people are terrified, okay? So, in this kind of deep transformational coaching, we explore the fears that shape your decisions and the stories that you tell yourself that no longer really reflect who you are. Like, when you were a child, maybe you were unsafe, but now that you're an adult, you're not in the same environment. Therefore, you don't have to live from that safety place. You can live from a more expansive, trusting space. All right. So, it's really only after we've really touched on those roots that we can start to move outward into your mindset, into your habits, the way you communicate, your behavior, and your choices. And that's where real change that you can measure becomes possible. And I have found that when you shift what's happening at the core of your being, your outer life has no choice but to respond to the new you, the new energy, the new thoughts, the new vibration that you're carrying. And this is what transformational coaching does. And I'm going to be talking to you today about my particular brand of transformational coaching. This is a 3-day challenge, and we have workbooks available for people who have signed up. So if you haven't signed up, please do so now so that you can get the workbooks and you can get the slides that we're going to be presenting. And I have some other bonuses for you as well. Will you please on Facebook make sure that we have the link for the sign up for the challenge? That way we can know that the workbooks are going to be automatically delivered to you and you'll have access to the replay and all of that stuff. All right. So this is really deep work, and it's the only kind of work that I'm interested in doing because it's the only kind of work that actually creates lasting transformation. So, my friends, I am really glad that you are here because the world needs you, okay? You and your unique story. We need for you to show us how you broke free of your struggles and overcame your obstacles. All right. We want to learn from people like you, people who have been through the fires of challenge, the obstacles, and who have come out the other side with an open heart and an open mind, willing to help other people. All right. And don't worry if you're new and you're thinking, oh, I haven't overcome my problems. I'm still troubled. I'm still struggling. I don't want you to think you need to be perfect in order to coach other people. All right. You do not. I am not perfect. I've coached thousands of people. All right. And you just have to be willing to do the work on yourself while you're working with other people. So besides initiating, spiritual women into this work, I have among my graduates people who specialize in different things. Okay, so um, spirituality is the foundation, all right, but my graduates work with relationship transformational coaching, midwife coaching, gender transition coaching, voice transformation coaching, life and legacy coaching, right? High priestesses of sexual healing and coaching, art, healing the soul through art coaching, neurodivergent life purpose coaching. So I want to know what brings you to this challenge and what you hope to learn and explore and really kind of take from these next 3 days. How do you want to change this week? And if you're ready, like let me know how you want to change the world. If you're ready to say that. You may not be ready to say that. You may not know how you want to change the world. Part of my process is helping you understand, right? Not everybody comes into this work knowing. I certainly did not know when I first started, when I had the dream. For me, coaching was a little bit vague, a little bit like, I don't know what is coaching, But I knew that it was a way to help people personally and deeply. And I just knew that I wanted to get there. So the next 3 days are really going to be important because I'm going to give you three powerful pillars that guarantee your success as a life coach. Regardless of what kind of coach you are or what kind of outcomes you help people achieve, you are going to find that these three pillars are essential. By the time we're done, you're going to know how to attract clients. That is important, right? Without clients, who are you going to give your services to, right? How are you going to make money? So you're going to learn how to attract clients. You're going to learn how to coach them through life-changing transformation. And you're going to learn how to build and run your entire coaching business, setting yourself up for six-figure income. All right. So let me just give you a quick overview of what we're going to do. Now, today is all about alchemy, right? If you've been following me, you know that I am badass butterfly alchemy, and that alchemy is the way I do transformation. I'm beyond metamorphosis, baby. We are into this fire. We are into this alchemy, burning up the old self, burning down the illusion, all right, burning that illusion to the ground, stepping fully into our power, turning into that gold, igniting the gold within and giving birth to that new self. That's alchemy, right? So you're going to learn a lot about that over the next 3 days. But today, in particular, we are actually going to be talking about the certification process. Now, your home fun for today is simply to do some research about coaching programs so that when you come back tomorrow, you can ask me any questions that you have about getting certified while we're together. All right. So just to make sure we're clear, the sessions, okay, it's going to be 3 days. It's today, tomorrow, and then the next day. We're meeting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to go for about 75 minutes a day. So try to hang in there for the whole 75 minutes because number one, there are bonuses. If you attend all 3 days and you stay the whole time, that's always a plus. But also, the information is rich, and I know that you are going to gain so much wisdom from everything that I'm talking about today. It's so freaking powerful. All right. So every day is going to give you something really rich. So I'm letting you know right now, there is no workbook for today, but what I want you to do, all right, and you want to write this down, just go online and search for coaching certification programs, look up some that look good to you, and just study those sites. Look for answers for what you want, and notice how they make you feel in your heart. Because if you're watching me right now, you probably have a really strong intuition. You probably have a very deep connection to your own inner wisdom. So, learning how to use that when you're making big decisions and when you're doing research is going to be really important. As a matter of fact, it's one of the cornerstones of my alchemy coaching method. And I call my particular brand of alchemy coaching inspire alchemy. And we'll talk about that more later. But for right now, I will stick to talking about the agenda because that's what we're doing right now. So today we're going to talk about the certification process and what you need to do in order to choose a great certification that actually resonates with your soul, but also resonates with your mind, your heart, and that's going to help you make the money that you need in order to run your business and to thrive in your life. All right. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about the process of alchemy in coaching and attracting clients. Now, if you have any confusion about what alchemy is, let me just tell you right now that alchemy is transformation. It's a powerful transformation process. There are several steps to it. I'm not going to tell you that right now, but just know that alchemy means transformation, but it's a very particular type of transformation. There's a lot of spirituality and divinity that's inherent in it. It's about working with shadows and it's about bringing in the light. It is very, very powerful. And I want you to understand this on a deep level and how you can use it in your coaching practice, not just to help your clients, but you use it in yourself to heal yourself, but you use it in your business to call in your clients. It is powerful. So tomorrow you're going to learn how to use alchemy to coach and to attract your clients. Now, on Thursday, you're going to, let's see, the topic is how alchemy in your business leads to six-figure income. So on the last day, it's going to be about how to set up your business using the principles of alchemy. All right. Now, if you are joining me live and you've signed up, all right, you're going to get three tangible assets that you're going to walk away with. Okay. And if you attend all 3 days of the challenge, you're going to have all 3 days of these assets. So the first is going to be my alchemical client transformational blueprint. And I should probably check. I'm assuming that Rebecca is running the slides for me right now. I have not even looked. And yes, of course, Rebecca is running the slides because she's on it. Just a little shout out to Team Badass Butterfly. I've got Rebecca and Liesel here. Liesel is on Facebook, making sure that you have everything that you need there. And Rebecca is with us live, making sure that we have everything here on the technology end. So thank you, ladies. All right. And let's see. So, right, you've got three things. The first is the alchemical client transformation blueprint. Now, this is the proven method that I use to take my clients on a deep transformational journey that begins with the soul and ends with the goal. Okay. So, what it means is, like as a coach, you have to coach to objectives. You have to give your client an outcome, right? So this method that I use and that I teach is it starts with understanding what the soul wants, and then it takes the client on the journey to actually achieve that goal, that outcome that they desire. So you're going to see exactly what goes into helping clients achieve those deep, lasting changes so that you can coach with clarity, structure, and confidence. Now, the next thing that you're going to get, this is what we're going to do. I think we're giving both of these, by the way, on day two. All right. Yeah, because today I didn't want to do a handout for this one. I want you to do the work on this day, and then tomorrow we'll do the work together. So you'll get both of these handouts tomorrow. Tomorrow you're going to get the Magnetic Alchemy Client Attraction Framework. All right. So this is where you learn the energetics and strategy of drawing in the clients who are meant to work with you and who are ready to pay you for your expertise. Now, lastly, my six-figure business alchemy roadmap. This is really super important. I consider this the holy grail of coaching startups. All right. You're going to get a roadmap and a strategy that you should use to build your six-figure business. And it's one step at a time. And you're going to really, really appreciate that. You're going to have so much clarity around coaching that you'll be more than ready to jump in and get started. All right. So I want to make sure that you are feeling confident in your decision to become a coach. And I want you to choose a great program. All right. Now, this is a 3-day challenge, and every day is going to be 75 minutes long. All right. And if you stay until the end, you're going to get some bonuses. So everyone gets access. You have to sign up. All right. So, Liesel, can you drop that link again on Facebook? Um, and make sure that everyone can sign up so that they can get the workbooks. Again, if you're on Facebook and you're attending live, will you just drop a hashtag live in the comments? Just let me know that you're here watching live. It's very, very helpful for me, and I like to know who's here. All right. So if you attend live each day, you're going to get a PDF of the slides presentation. And if you attend all 3 days live, you are going to receive my life coach certification checklist. So this is the must-have for every new coach to help you choose the right certification program for your unique soul. So it's going to help you use both your logic and your intuition so that you can find the coaching training that will bring you the most success. All right. So here's the promise that I have to you. First of all, I'm going to very efficiently pack in as much as I can in our 3 days together. But I need you to understand that there's so much more to learning how to coach, learning how to get clients, and learning how to build a profitable and soulful coaching business. And I promise you that I will show you a way to get more support. Now, you are in the right place if you've helped your people, like if you've helped the people around you, like all your life, and you feel called to become a coach, but you don't know where to start. Okay. This is going to be great for you if you're spiritual or intuitive, or you just feel for people and you lead with your heart. But you do not want to be scattered or vague or airy-fairy. All right. This is going to be great for you. And this is going to be great for you if you want to get certified, but you don't want to waste time or money on the wrong program. All right. And this is going to be great for you if you want to build your coaching career on a solid foundation with the skills, structure, and mindset to grow into a six-figure business. All right. So, what I'm going to share with you is um, really essential if you're not really sure about how to get started as a coach or how to be successful at it. Okay. Now, you might be great at working for someone else, helping other people build their businesses. Okay. You're good at your job, but starting your own coaching business and attracting clients can be a totally different ball game. So my approach is unique because it doesn't just focus on the mechanics of coaching and building a business. It's truly based on spiritual alchemy, the art of turning your personal pain, your personal experience, and your insight into healing for yourself and leadership for others, and of course, income for your business. So I help you become a powerful, soul-led coach who creates change at every level of yourself and your clients. A lot of coaching programs are generic and they stay on the surface, but my work honors what you already bring to the table, which is your unique life experience. It's so very, very important. So I want to tell you a little bit about my story, my life experience, and why I am doing this. And before I do that, I want to just check in. And I say that Marie is here. Hey, Marie, thanks for checking in. It's good to see you. And Liesel, thank you so much for doing this. You're doing a great job keeping that link visible for people. And you maybe even want to tag some people from the group since, they're here as well. I mean, they're part of this as well. All right. That would be great. All right. So let me tell you a little bit about my story. When I was 15 years old, I went to Paris. I was very blessed and very fortunate. I went on a European tour, and I fell in love with Paris. All right. And when I got back home, I told everyone that I would go back and live in the city of light. And here I am. I love Paris. Okay. My life here is absolutely magnificent. My days are filled with sensual experiences that keep my creativity turned on, and everywhere I go, I experience beauty. I love this. Rebecca, do we have the slides going for the for this right now? I think I'm seeing myself. That's why I'm asking. Um, so yeah, the sensuality of Paris is really important, and sensuality is a huge part of alchemy. This is what people don't understand. Alchemy and sensuality are completely linked, all right? So for me, Paris is an alchemical city. It's beautiful. The architecture is beautiful. People take a lot of pride in their homes. So they have beautiful lights at night when you walk. It's beautiful lighting coming out of the windows, and I cannot help it. I am looking in everybody's window like, what are you doing? What do you got in there? That's beautiful. You see this art hung on the walls in the background, and you see people interacting, and there's the tinkle of laughter, and you walk by these bars, and people are they're drinking their wine, and they're smoking their cigarettes. Look, I am so not into all that cigarette smoke, but these people are out there enjoying their coffee, their wine, their cigarettes. They keep it very, very simple. It's not like Parisians make a lot of money. They don't, but what they do is they fill every moment with vibrancy and with connection. That human connection is really important. Intimacy is really important. And fashion is huge here, all right? You see a lot of high fashion because big name fashion is important and it's a part of the culture. Women will pass down their luxury items to their children. So you'll see, and I don't mean that they get them as children, but there are some classic Chanel suits that have been taken care of exquisitely and they're passed on to their daughters, or their YSL bags are passed on, right? It's beautiful culture here. We see a lot of dads out with the kids, like one they'll have a there when there'll be a dad with his one kid on the shoulder and another on a little scooter that he's pulling along. Um, this is a sensual city, all right? There's the smell of fresh baked bread on every corner, which is so hard if you're doing a keto diet, okay? There's a lot of perfume, right? So I spend my time walking a polo along the Seine, meeting friends out for dinner in a cozy bistro. It's like taking a walk. Like it's a really romantic place. And I thank God every day for the desire that brought me here. And there's that fire again. Desire is an important part of this. And God gave me the desire to be here. God gave you the desire to do whatever you're doing. Coaching is one of the desires that God has given you. And God also will give you the courage to say yes to it. And God will give you the courage to do the path. But you do have to engage. And that's what alchemy is all about. So people sometimes ask how I ended up here, living in Paris, running my coaching business and helping other women launch their own businesses, right? How did I end up um, creating this? What I've created is a really big deal. This certification, and I'm going to sit down, so let me adjust a little bit. But what I've created is a really big deal. And what I want you to understand is that what I've created did not just come, it wasn't luck. All right. It wasn't luck. It was alchemy and it was work. Okay. Um, the version that I'm living right now, okay, it came from a series of risks and opportunities, all of which were inspired, and many which were actually terrifying. But out of all of them, there came something that was deeper than logic. Okay. So when I was taking risks, when I was building what I've built, there was logic and there was rationale and there was strategy. Yes. But the thing that was more powerful than all of those things was the intuition and the deep love of God and life and the deep trust that I had to nurture every step of the way, right? So my most recent move to Paris was in 2021. So I've been here now most recently since 2021. That was a really difficult challenge. It was a very difficult risk to take to move back here in 2021. I had taken bold steps before, but this one was different. It was post-COVID, right? So I had just started a new phase of my business before COVID. So right before COVID hit, I started this new way of working, okay? And then the pandemic hit and there were shutdowns. I had been living in Italy and then I went to California for a visit and I found myself stranded there because of the lockdowns. So COVID on its own was scary, but I survived it. Okay. The vaccine was scary, but I took it. I had to take it if I wanted to go to France because France was saying, look, you cannot come here unless you're vaccinated. Okay. So I took it. Okay. God told me to move to Paris at this time. I did not want to move. I was in California. I didn't want to be moving around, but the desire was there. And God led me, and God was right. God was so strong in my heart. My higher self was so strong. And even though my ego was terrified, things were so uncertain. Immigration laws were changing, okay? And when I got that call to go to Paris from inside, I felt sad to be leaving behind this incredible community that I had found in California during the pandemic. So in August of 2021, my spiritual guidance team was really loud and clear. You're moving to Paris now, and you are not going to delay. And honestly, I was shocked. I had adjusted to my life in California. I was, in my car. I had bought a car, all right? And I hadn't owned a car in a while because I'd been living in Europe, all right? But I was comfortable in my car. I had my community. I was playing pickleball every day for hours on a beautiful, in beautiful locations with beautiful people. I was getting my groceries from Rayleigh's. I had a weekly burrito habit that, from Chipotle. I loved my Chipotle. All right. At that time, I was living in a gun-toting Trump town. All right. And the people there were so friendly and so loving and warm, and we all bonded in spite of our differing views. I was so comfortable and so safe in California at that time. Um, when my spirit guide said that you have to go to Paris now, I was like, are you serious? You want me to leave what is good and comfortable and stable and safe, and you want me to move? And they said yes. And so I sold all the beautiful furniture that I had bought. I sold it for pennies on the dollar. I packed up the very basics for Apollo and me, and I left for a new adventure in Paris. And I was 51 years old when I made that move. And let me tell you something, I was angry and I was mad as hell at God for taking me out of my comfort zone when I didn't want to go. I was mad, right? She's going to Paris and she's mad. Can you imagine? All right. I know it sounds really, really weird, but um, the fact is, I was terrified, At that time, I was scared and I did it anyway. 51 years old, making a big move. I wanted to be settled. I was tired of being nomadic. I had been nomadic for um, uh, 8 years of traveling around. Rebecca, you can turn off the slide, sweetheart. Um, I'd been traveling around the world. All right. I was in Cambodia. I was in India. I was in Bali. I was in Croatia. I was in Costa Rica. I was in Greece. I was I was in Italy. Okay. I'd done a lot of traveling and there was just a lot going on. All right. I was craving roots and settling down. And I thought, okay, God brought me back to California. This is where God wants me to be. And so I was settling in. I bought a car. Okay. I bought a house full of furniture. I invested like $30,000 into being in California for that. I was going to be there, I thought, for at least a few years. And then I'd get a calling, but no, I ended up being there for all of a year and a half. Okay. And then I got the call to go to Paris. So yes, I was mad. All right. And $30,000 is a lot of money to be dropping to spend, renting a place for a year. I was mad. Now, here's the thing I want you to understand, okay? At the time when I got first of all, I want to say thank you, God. Thank you, God, for bringing me to this decision and helping me overcome my fear. Thank you, God, for the courage to act in spite of my fear. Now, I am in this place right now, and it is magnificent. If I had not made this move and acted on the calling when God gave it to me, I would have spent years. Like I have friends who did not act on the calling, and they ended up staying where they were, getting more and more and more entrenched in things, and they have still not moved. And it's been 4 years now. They're still stuck, and they're still mad. They are mad as hell. And I'm here following my soul, living in my calling, and reaping the benefits of living according to higher laws. That is alchemy. All right. Now, you might be feeling a similar nudge right now. Maybe becoming a coach feels like a calling, a thing in your heart, a thing in your mind, a nudging in your mind. Okay. And maybe you felt it for a while, but you don't know where to start. Maybe you know it's time to serve and lead others, but stepping into that new version of yourself can feel overwhelming. I totally get that. When I first decided to become a coach way back in 2011, I knew I didn't want something superficial. I wanted a path that honored who I was, spiritual, thoughtful, a philosopher. All right. But I wanted to be grounded and I wanted to feel very capable, like I could do this. So back in 2011, I found a coaching certification program that really looked promising. And it spoke about connecting to God and to spirits and fairies and healing. And those are things that I really cared about. And I did that certification and I learned a lot. But when it ended, I felt really lost. I didn't know how to translate everything that I had learned into something that people would actually pay me for. So I had a bunch of spiritual knowledge, but I had no system for how to use it. I didn't have a method. I didn't have a specialty. I didn't have a message, right? I didn't have a plan. I didn't have a path for how to build the business, how to attract clients. I did have a philosophy. But that was in my head, and I didn't really know how to get it out so that I could share it with people, right? I didn't know how to get clients. So I just had this deep desire to help, but I had a lot of frustration that no one had actually shown me how to actually build a coaching business. So I got a certificate, but I didn't know how to use that certificate. And so for a really long time, I struggled and I kept creating content and trying to put myself out there, but I wasn't earning any money. I was doing a lot of free stuff and low ticket stuff, but like I couldn't get paid. I wasn't getting paid. All right. So eventually I started investing in business programs and some of them gave me some really quick wins, but most just weren't right. They were offering like pieces of the puzzle, but they didn't give it to me in the right order. So, well, I didn't know the order to ask for it and I didn't know what to ask for. It's like, ask us questions, but I don't know what questions to ask. That's the person that I am, all right, or that I was. Now it's very different. So the thing is, I would invest like $10,000 and then I'd find myself missing the components that I needed so that I could like amplify that money, get a return on my investment. All right. So I had a wake up call, all right, at some point. Okay. I finally had a wake up call. So I was working with a mentor who helped me put together a launch that brought me my first $40,000 a month. And she was really thrilled and I was thrilled. And I finally had proof that I could make big money as a coach, right? Now, what my mentor refused to acknowledge is that it took me 4 months of intense, nonstop work to build that $40,000 launch. And then after that launch, I was completely exhausted. Okay. I could barely think straight because I had worked for 4 months solid to bring out that launch, bring in that $40,000, and then I collapsed with exhaustion. All right. There was no way that I was going to be able to just do it again to bring in another $40,000, right? Which is what that mentor had told me at that time. And I was just like, okay, this makes no sense. I had already launched to everybody that I know. Told everybody that I know about what I'm doing. Was I supposed to just say the same things again to the exact same people, like, and have no new leads, no rest, no strategy? Was I supposed to just keep pushing and hustling? And that's when it hit me that this coaching industry is full of hype and really lacking in long-term structure and goals and ability, right? And I just didn't want to build a business that left me depleted. So that's how I started building this program. I decided that I didn't want to teach other women how to burn themselves out in the name of success. That is wrong. And I didn't want to pretend that coaching was like all magic and woo-woo and fairies and all you have to do is like channel and everything's going to work for you. No, it's a combination of both. You need connection to the divine, yes, but you also need systems. You need strategy and you need a foundation. Most of all, you need a mentor who's going to walk you through that foundation step by step. I'm so sorry, friends, but you can't just do it on your own and it doesn't work that way. Not for long-term success. You can certainly kind of just, dance around and try things out for a year, but you're going to get frustrated because you're not going to be making any money and you're going to be eating through your savings account like I did. Okay, that's how it happened. I ran out of money. And I'm like, okay, I got $40,000 now, but I was exhausted, you know? And then I ran out of money again. So it's like this whole feast or famine thing has got to stop. And in order to avoid that, you really need systems, you need strategy, and you need structure, and you need step-by-step guidance. That's why I do things differently now. It's not that I figured it out right away, but it's because I learned it the hard way, and because I believe that no new coach should have to guess her way through building out her business and guess her way through the best method. Now, that's why I put together this 3-day challenge to help new coaches like you learn about coaching, learn how to get clients, and learn how to get certified. So I'm really, really glad you're here. Welcome, 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 welcome. And I want to just pause a moment and take a breath. And I see that Leanna has joined me live. Thank you. Thank you, Leanna. I'm glad you made it. All right. And again, if you are watching live, please type in hashtag live. Let me know you're here. And if you're watching the replay, please type in hashtag replay. That's also really helpful. And if you have any questions about anything along the way, please just type your questions into the chat, the comments, and I'll be checking in and answering them. Okay. All right. So, um, I created this program because I don't want you to have the same struggles that I did when I first started out. I don't want you wasting your time. I don't want you wasting your money. I don't want you struggling so much in your business that you cannot even take care of yourself. So let's look at what brought you here today. I want you to just in the comments, just talk about any fears, doubts, worries, or concerns that you might have about getting started as a coach. All right. So I've been working with professional women transitioning into coaches for a really long time. And I imagine that you are like they are. You're taking this challenge because you're serious about becoming a coach, but you're not sure how to begin or how to do it right. This is really important. You want to become a coach, but you don't know how to get started. Now, you also maybe know that you need some kind of a certification, right? But that's just one part of the puzzle. You also need to learn how to coach effectively. You need to start your business, find clients, and you need to learn how to create sustainable income for yourself as a coach. And that is a process. And I want you to understand that. Right now, that can feel overwhelming, but that's a process. Okay. Now, you've tried researching on your own, but maybe the information you're finding is uninspiring. And maybe you're also dealing with fear of doing it wrong, fear of wasting money, fear of not getting clients. You want to make a meaningful career shift, but you're juggling a lot, your job, your family, your doubts. Okay. Like you're having to deal with yourself on top of, dealing with the things in the 3D world that are going on. Okay. So you're probably here with me and you're taking this challenge because you want to know what it actually takes to launch a coaching practice and whether you're able to actually do it. But more than all of this, okay, you're here because you're ready for a transformation of your own. You are ready to transform. You're stepping into a new identity. You're ready to let go of all the old versions of yourself that played small, that hides her gifts, who hides her ambitions, and doubts her ability to become a coach and build her own business. For many people like you, stepping into coaching is the greatest obstacle. And it's not about like, can you do it? You know, it's more about just the overwhelm of not knowing. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to coach. I don't know how to get started. You know, like I don't know is a very simple phrase, okay? But the impact is substantial. And I remember when I was a kid, my mom would ask me a question and I would say, I don't know. And she would be like, no, you do know. Okay. You need to find that answer, find it out, go look it up in the dictionary, go do research, in the encyclopedia, because back then we did not have internet. Look it up in the encyclopedia. We have, the whole Encyclopedia Britannica, go look it up. All right. I couldn't just answer, I don't know. But she was right because I don't know is disempowering. Number one, it's a lie. You do know. All right. You do know. You know because God is within. And so you do know, right? You've already made the decision to become a life coach. You're not unsure of your calling. You do know, okay? You've just got to navigate a transition into an entirely new role, one for which you don't have a formal roadmap, okay? You don't have a formal roadmap. So I don't know shows up in three critical areas. I don't know how to coach, right? That's the first critical area. So, like, this is not just about coaching theory, but it's also coaching practice, okay? But here's the thing. You are already used to solving problems. You're used to advising. You're used to leading. But coaching requires a different kind of presence, okay? It requires the ability to guide transformation for people you don't know, you don't have an opinion on, and you can't judge, all right? And you need to have a significant financial investment from them, all right? And so this I don't know how to coach has a lot of weight to it, okay? You've not yet been taught, all right? I get that. The next level of I don't know is I don't know how to build a business. So most of you are coming from like corporate backgrounds, right? You're not coming from an entrepreneurial background. I came from an entrepreneurial background, okay? Um, but you know how to manage budgets, teams, and projects, but maybe you don't yet know how to create a brand, structure an offer, or attract and enroll paying clients, right? These are essential skills for coaches. And the absence of these makes you hesitate. I totally understand that, right? The next level of I don't know is I don't know which certification to choose. So you understand the value of credibility, right? But the market is saturated with these vague promises, and there's spiritual jargon out there, and there are all these really expensive programs that don't deliver little, like the structure that you need. They don't give you everything. So choosing the wrong certification can feel like a really costly mistake in both time and money and trust, right? So beyond these logical gaps, there are also the practical and emotional weight of integrating this new path into your life, which is already full, right? You're wondering, how do I make time for this? How do I explain this to my partner? How do I explain this to the rest of my family members? I'm spiritual, but my family is very Christian. How do I talk about this? Wow. Okay. And of course, how do you get a return on your investment of money and time and heart, right? This is important. So in this context, I don't know is not really about an identity crisis. It's really a structural challenge. It's what happens when a really competent woman like you steps into an area where she doesn't have experience, knowledge, or the language or the support. Now, I want to talk about this a little bit further, and I want you to kind of just take a deep breath and understand that there are solutions, okay? And I want you to just ask yourself these 5 questions. And on a scale of 1 to 10, no, sorry, on a scale of 1 to, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you to tell me, answer these questions. One is, sorry, I want to try to give you the scale. I'm getting myself confused. So 1 is, I don't know at all. I have no idea, okay? And 10 is, I feel totally confident. All right. So the first question is, how confident are you in knowing how to coach someone? On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 is, I don't know at all. 10 is, I feel totally confident. So how confident are you in knowing how to coach someone? The next question is, how confident are you in knowing how to get paying clients, not free clients, paying clients, right? On a scale of 1 to 10. Next question. How confident are you in knowing how to start your coaching business on a scale of 1 to 10? All right. How confident are you in knowing how to start your coaching business? All right. This is our fourth question. How confident are you in knowing which certification is right for you? How confident are you in knowing which certification is right for you? And then the last question, question 5, how confident are you in knowing how to fit this into your life right now? How confident are you in knowing how to fit this into your life right now? All right. So looking at the chat, I see that um, you've named some of the most common challenges that new coaches face. All right. And if your numbers were on the lower end, you're not alone. All right. But just for right now, just notice where the gaps are because those gaps are where your growth begins. Most women who've made the decision to become a coach are still sitting in that same place. I don't know how to coach. I don't know how to get clients. I don't know how to start a business. I don't know how to choose the right certification. I don't know how to make this work in my life. And this, my friends, is simply the reality of stepping into a new professional identity without a roadmap. Okay. This is what happens when you don't have a roadmap and you haven't been trained yet. Okay. You've never been taught how to do this. And until someone shows you what to focus on and in what order, okay, the order is important. It's very, very easy to stay stuck. And that's why the right certification program matters so much. That's why we're starting with this, okay? That's why day one is about the certification. All right. So, at its core, a coaching certification is a structured program designed to teach you how to become a coach. It should give you a clear, proven framework for how to support clients through change. It should help you understand the difference between advice and transformation, between cheerleading and true guidance. And it should prepare you to sit with people in real moments of confusion. All right. Grief, breakthrough, and growth. All right. So you got to learn how to be with people while they're in their shadow and while they're in their light. A good certification is going to help you become an alchemist. All right. So understand this. Coaching is not about, oh, I have a goal. I want you to coach me to my goal. And it's, flowers and light and joy every single day. No, the reason the person is not reaching their goal is because they don't know how. They have blockages. They have old wounds that are holding them back, old grief that's holding them back. If you don't know how to work with them through those deep, dark emotions, if you don't have a system to work with them through those deep, dark emotions, then you are going to not be able to get them to that goal and beyond that goal, right? Alchemy is about working with the shadow and working with the light. Do you remember the book The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho? It's the story of this young shepherd in Andalusia, Spain. His name is Santiago, all right? And Santiago goes on a quest in search of his personal legend. Now, I I interpret the personal legend as being like your greatest potential, your God self, your higher self, okay? Santiago's quest for his personal legend is huge, okay? It takes him from Spain to Morocco and eventually to Egypt. So he goes everywhere, all right? Every step along the way is really, really rich with experience, okay? It's a joyful, it's a joyful adventure, okay? He goes in search of his joy. And his adventures find him getting robbed, okay? He loses everything. He loses everything. He joins a nomadic caravan. He falls in love. And eventually, he meets the alchemist in the Sahara Desert. And at the point when Santiago encounters the alchemist, he's full of doubt. All right. He's in this life. It's not working out the way he wants. Okay. He's met with challenge and obstacle and obstacle. And he doesn't have the broad view of his journey yet. But the alchemist does. Okay. The alchemist is a transmuter of energy. He changes the nature of things. Right. So, what is transmutation? Transmutation is the process of changing one thing into something completely different. Okay. Metamorphosis is a transmutational process. The caterpillar's like a caterpillar, right? changes into something completely different, right? The innards transform into goo and those imaginal cells activate and they become a totally new creature with a totally different nature. A caterpillar crawls, right? And it eats by chewing on the leaves, okay? It chews on flowers. I have basil. I have basil on my balcony, and caterpillars are in there eating it up. I got to go pick them off, right? That's what caterpillars do, okay? They break down things, okay? But the butterfly has a straw-like mouth and it sips the nectar of flowers. It sips, it flies, okay? Just like gold and lead are both metals, caterpillars and butterflies are both insects. They're different, though, okay? Different natures. So when Santiago meets the alchemist in the desert, he was deep, deep, deep in doubt, okay? Um, the journey brought on the doubt. It brought it up, okay? But the doubt was a part of the process, and this is what is so important to understand. Doubt is part of the process. You are not to bow down to your doubt. You are not to back away from I don't know, okay? As an alchemist, as a coach, you have to have a broader perspective of your clients. Just as the alchemist in the desert had a broader perspective of Santiago. Why? Because the alchemist had already walked the path. You are born with alchemy in you, but you have to grow and develop and learn the alchemy path. All right. So the alchemist has already walked that path. I'm an alchemist. I've already walked this path, and I am here to initiate you into this work. I have a broader vision of you, just like the alchemist had a broader vision of Santiago, right? So the alchemist's job is to stay focused on Santiago's personal legend, his greatest potential, right? So the alchemist in the book, he challenged Santiago to transmute himself. He said to completely change your nature, change yourself into the wind. And the scene with the alchemist represents that turning point, right? Santiago awakens to his true power, right? And it's about his connection to life. From this point, he must continue on his journey, which leads him back home. And the thing that most people don't understand is that to be a successful life coach, you have to be the alchemist. So, in this sense, the alchemy coach is someone who's deeply in tune and understands the nature of the person who is struggling and knows how to change that nature into something completely different. So, for example, if you have a client who is struggling with self-doubt, the alchemy coach, particularly the fire alchemy coach, has been trained through the certification process to identify the source of the problem and to transform that doubt to confidence or self-love, right? A life coach has to be an alchemist. All right, let me tell you why. All right, let's look at why a life coach is an alchemist. Number one, they transmute pain into purpose. So just as the alchemist turns base metal into gold, a life coach helps clients turn their past wounds into wisdom. So the betrayals, losses, patterns, inner blocks that once caused suffering can now become fuel for growth. Fire alchemy, right? A coach holds space for this sacred transmutation. Number two, the coach sees the gold that's hidden in the shadows, right? So where others might see brokenness or failure, the fire alchemy coach sees potential, soul, and raw material for transformation. All right. We help our clients reclaim the lost parts of themselves and reframe their experiences through a lens of meaning and empowerment, right? Coaches guide the journey of the soul. That's number three. So in The Alchemist, Santiago was really looking for his personal legend, right? And we life coaches, we go on that same path. The becoming a coach is the personal legend for right now, right? That's a part of the bigger personal legend, but it's a part of the journey, right? So life coaches we help others listen to the call of their soul, and we help people follow the signs, and we help them stay on the path, especially when it's uncomfortable or it's uncertain or it's lonely or it feels like it is failing. Okay? So important when it feels like it's failing, right? The coach is there to help get them back on track. I love this so much. I love this work so much. The fourth thing, they facilitate identity death and rebirth. So true transformation requires letting go of old identities. The people pleaser, the perfectionist, the survivor, okay? Becoming something new, okay? Outside, what exists outside of being a people pleaser? What exists outside of being a perfectionist? What exists outside of just surviving or barely surviving? Okay? The coach, especially the fire alchemy coach, helps navigate this death and rebirth with courage and compassion. All right. And the fifth thing, we use tools to work with the unseen, right? Especially we who work with fire alchemy, we use tools that you can't see: energy, focus, concentration, love, passion, right? These are fire. This is fire, the fire within. All right. The fire within can burn down the illusion and burn up with the passion, right? We want to burn up with our desire. We want to burn up with our passion. Okay. So, intuition, right? Holding presence, reflection. These are unseen tools, spiritual principles. Okay. All of this stuff is so exciting to work with. Okay. Our job is to help people shift on energetic, emotional, and mental levels, not just behaviors. Okay. We have to help them shift inside, not just the outside, right? Not just time schedules. Number six, they align inner and outer worlds. So alchemy is about harmony. All right. Coaches help clients bridge their inner transformation with outer action. So we're changing relationships, setting boundaries, building businesses, claiming visibility. That's the outside stuff. But that outside stuff, we don't start there. Okay. We have to start with what's inside. Okay. If you don't start with what's inside, you don't even know what to ask for on the outside. You play it small. Like you might say, oh, yeah, I'm happy just to make. I had somebody come to me and they're like, yeah, I just want to make $2,000 a month as a coach. And I'm like, you want to live on $2,000? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, you can't start there as the goal because she was small thinking. She didn't know that her goal to start could have been, okay, Crystalline, I want to start off as a $10,000 a month coach. Now we're starting. So, but she is where she is. My job was to coach her from that. And that's what we did. Okay, we start where on the inside. Why do you think so small? What's going on? Unpacking that. And then the blossoming starts. And then, it starts off as a rosebud, then it becomes a blossoming rose, right? That's what we want. Now, let me take a pause here and see where we are. All right. Let's talk about certification. Okay. The best certification program is going to make you an alchemist. But a meaningful certification doesn't just give you a title. It requires that you become aligned with the work itself, emotionally, energetically, and ethically. And that's not all it should do. Okay, coaching is not just a skill set, it's a profession, which means a solid certification should also prepare you for the business of coaching. So, how you define your niche and message, how you create a transformational offer, how to price and deliver your services, how to attract clients and how to market yourself, how to build credibility, how to get good testimonials, right? This is the part of the program that is essential, but a lot of programs leave out. They give you the insights to the coaching, but they don't give you the infrastructure to run your coaching business. They give you the generic coaching philosophy, but they don't give you the personalized process that connects with your soul, right? You need your soul to be involved, especially if you believe in the soul, right? They teach you how to be with people, but they don't necessarily teach you how to find your people. So there are a lot of programs out there. Some have really big names. Some are attached to authors, influencers, and institutions. Okay. Some have very slick websites and really fancy frameworks. All right. And those things are great. But what many of them lack is depth. They are churning out coaches, but they're not nurturing and developing and building alchemists. Too many programs teach surface level tools without a real methodology. Too many focus on mindset without addressing trauma, energy, or transformation. And too many skip business foundations entirely, or they offer outdated one size fits all advice. And too many leave graduates without a certificate, but no plan, or sorry, with a certificate, but they have no plan. Okay. That was me. I had a certificate, but I had no plan. So, a coaching certification is not just a credential, it's a commitment to doing this work the right way with the skill, structure, and soul. So when done right, certification changes you so that you can change lives. Certification changes you so that you can change lives. Now, if you're overwhelmed or you're unsure where to start and you're afraid of doing it wrong, don't worry. The right certification program will solve all of this. And please don't make the mistake of choosing a generic life coach course or a bunch of cookie cutter videos. You need a certification that gives you three non-negotiable things. Okay. We're going to take a deep dive into each one of these things over the course of the challenge, but you need to have clarity on these three things to be successful. Let me tell you what they are really quickly. So, non-negotiable number one, the certification program must teach a powerful transformational process that you are excited to use. You got to be excited, okay? Number one, you're not here to blend in. You're here to stand out. If you're not excited, you're going to be like, yeah, I do this thing. And you're not going to have the fire that you need to call in the people that you want to work with. So the certification should teach you how to coach in a way that actually changes people's lives, and it has to feel alive, aligned, and personal to you. All right. You don't want to copy what everyone else is doing. You want to offer something that comes from your heart and feels meaningful and that incorporates your own story and your own healing journey. So, a great coaching certification is going to help you pull that story forward and turn it into a method that clients want and pay for. Now, non-negotiable number two, the certification program must teach a clear system for finding and attracting clients. You can be the best coach in the world, but if no one knows who you are, then your calendar is going to stay empty. You need a certification that doesn't just hand you coaching techniques, but that shows you how to connect with the people you are meant to serve. You should walk away knowing how to market yourself in a way that feels good, that feels natural, and feels aligned with your mission. Oh, by the way, your coaching certification should help you uncover your mission. All right. This includes your messaging and your visibility and understanding your audience because you can't be on a mission if you don't have all of these things. All right. Knowing how to attract clients is not an optional thing. Okay. You must know how to attract clients. All right, non-negotiable number three. The certification program must provide step-by-step training in how to build and run your business. This is a piece that people don't want to talk about until it's too late. Like people want to avoid this. Look, if your certification doesn't teach you how to build your coaching business, you're going to be left scrambling, trying to figure it out for yourself. That means, how do I do it? I don't know. Here we go again with the I don't know. I don't know how to build a newsletter. I don't know how to build a landing page. I don't know how to build a lead magnet. I don't know how to build a funnel. Automations. What? What's an automation? I don't know what that is. All of that can be overwhelming. And look, if you plan to hire someone to help you, and you should, okay, you should get help. You can hire someone to help you. But you still have to understand how it works. You do not want to just put your coaching method and everything you've learned into the hands of somebody and be like, build my business for me. And I don't need to know what's going on in it. You do it for me. No, you need to understand what it is. And a certification should teach you, okay? Your brand that you're learning and that you're developing That's your voice. That's your strategy. That's who you are. You don't just pass that off blindly to a tech team. Okay. So even though you may not do all those things yourself, you need to know what's happening. You need to be in the driver's seat. So you want to be clear. All right. And certification should give you that. Okay. All right. Now, if a coaching certification doesn't help you transform lives, attract clients, and run a business, it's not doing its job. All right. So, look, you all, I want to wrap it up here for today. And I want to remind you that for tomorrow, we're meeting here again at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Your home fun for tonight is to look into at least one coaching certification program. All right. Note what it's offering and how it resonates with you. All right. Look at what it's offering. Look at how it makes you feel. All right. And come up with a question or two about coaching certification and bring that question to tomorrow's session. Liesel, will you please in Facebook drop the Zoom link so that tomorrow everyone can show up? And honestly, if you want the materials, if you want the workbooks that are coming tomorrow, you actually need to be on the email list because that's how we're going to give you the materials, what we email them. All right. And yeah, show up tomorrow with those questions. And I want to look, if what I'm talking about is resonating with you now, I want to invite you to book a strategy call and we can talk about your coaching vision and how my certification program can help you. Now, I haven't told you anything about my certification program yet, but I can guarantee you everything that I have mentioned is 100% covered through my total certification because I walked it, all right? I was Santiago, and now I am the alchemist, and I am here to train women like you in this method. I'll tell you more about it tomorrow, but if you're eager to get started and you want to already book your time to talk to me about it, do it now. Rebecca and Liesel, please make sure that link to book the strategy call is on Facebook and in the Zoom for my Zoom live attendees. All right. And book yourself in now. This is a powerful time for us. This is a powerful season that we're in. Enrollment for my program is open now. All right. We are starting the very first week of October. So now is the time to start talking about this, to start figuring out how you're going to get yourself enrolled. And the strategy call is a time for me to learn about you, to learn how I can help you, and to see if my program is a good fit for your dreams. It's also a great time for you to bring your heart and soul and how you want to help people. If you are eager to help people and you want to know how you can bring your dream and your vision to the world, then the strategy call is the doorway to get there. These strategy calls, there's no pressure, right? I believe in magnetism. So I know that I'm a magnet for the right people and this program. So I am already attracting. If you're here and you're watching this, you're already attracted, right? So when you come to this call, it's about you and I sitting down together. We're going to bring our hearts together. We're going to bring our minds together. We're going to unite and we're going to figure out if this is going to work for you and how we can get you in. So I'm excited to meet you. I'm excited to connect with you. And we are going to talk more tomorrow. Book in tomorrow and the next day. All right. While it's open enrollment, I have times available on the weekends as well. These calls are very precious, and this is a very special time. I'm in the portal. So bring yourself into the portal and book your call, and then we can talk some more and we can talk about getting started. I'm really, really happy. So, all right, everyone, I'm going to go ahead and sign off now, and I'll see you here tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. All right, everyone. Bye for now. Bye.